Hi, welcome back to the podcast. Those of you who don't know me, my name is Sabrina. This is my sort of knitting, fibery, artistic, I guess, sort of podcast where I just talk about things that I'm working on, want to work on, designing, anything like that. Also, sometimes I like to include like my garden or hiking or something like that, but that's never like the main point of the podcast. It's just a little extra. And if you would like to follow me on Instagram, my username there is Sabrina Justine. And then my designs are on Ravelry as the same name, but I'll link all that below. So I really liked last time doing the captions underneath. Like I felt that was so much easier too. Like even when I was editing the video, it just felt more consistent. So I'm definitely going to be doing that again. I actually forgot to grab my finished object that I wanted to show you. So let me just go get that. I'll be right back. So I actually have more than just these as my finished object, but some of the things I sent off to be gifted. So I don't have them to show you right now, but I did take some clips of them and I can put them, I think I can put them in here. I'm going to try to figure that out in the video editing, but basically I had finished my fawn baby blanket from Wolf and Fawn Knits, and then I knit that in a Cloudborne bulky, it's a superwash yarn. And then I also knit two hats. One was like a little cap where you tie it, and then I also did an extra one because I had some more yarn, just a traditional smaller baby hat with a pom-pom and a little Lavian braid around it. So I think they came out really, really beautiful, and I hope that the family who gets them really likes them for their new baby. So they were really fun to knit too. I like doing baby hats because you can just kind of add little details here and there, and you don't really have to overthink it. It's small, so it goes by relatively quickly. I have some friends who are having babies, a few of them actually. So I'm looking forward to maybe making some baby socks. So little tiny knits are fun. The other finished item that I have is my Beatrix socks. I finished both of them. They're done testing. They've been released. So if you want to knit these, you can knit them, purchase them either on Ravelry, purchase the pattern either on Ravelry or on Etsy. So yeah, they came out really nice. I like the little details on the toes, and I feel like it stands out, you know, really well, the pattern on the cuff. I knit these in the Garthenor Snowdonia sock. I really enjoyed it because it's very rustic, and I think that in the winter these are going to be really warm and nice to just put on and be snuggly. Yeah, I'm very pleased with it. Yeah, I believe the colorways were Glaslyn for the lighter gray and then Tegid for the darker gray. And I actually did a giveaway on my Instagram page, which it was the first time I'd ever done that. And honestly, I might do some more. I really liked it. It feels good to be able to send a little care package, you know. And it was open internationally, so the winner actually lives in Canada. And since it's yarn, it didn't cost that much to ship it, so it's okay. And yeah, it was just really enjoyable to just put something together for somebody. So she won a skein of the Tegid and a skein of the Glaslyn, and then a free copy of the pattern. So, you know, I might, as I can, do something like that. Yeah, that was sort of just happenstance. I happened to buy too much yarn, and I knew that I probably wasn't going to use the same colorway since I already have these socks. So yeah, it was just a nice way to give a little something back. So there was a couple other things I wanted to show you something that I've been working on lately. I'm still working on my sword fern sweater. I have the swatch here I can show you. This is the swatch I showed you guys before, and I'm going to be continuing to work on this. I've written most of the yoke, so I actually wanted to write it out first and then knit from what I've written so that I can kind of double check it as I go along. And then my other two sweaters, I've reached out to a tech editor. They haven't gotten back to me, but I'm going to give them some more time. I know how things can be, so I'm not too worried about it. But my hope is that sometime in the next month or two, I'll be able to call for testers for definitely the the Nutiden sweater. So I'm really looking forward to getting that one tested. I think a lot of people are going to have fun knitting it. I've shown it to you so many times, I'm not going to go get it. But yeah, that one is a lot of fun. So as soon as that one's actually tech edited, it'll be ready for testing. So hopefully soon. Yeah, I've actually come up with a name for it. I'm going to name it Luce, and it means light in Italian, because the energy from that sweater is very airy, sort of like you're cozy, but it's light. It doesn't weigh anything because of the kind of yarn that it is. It just feels breathy yet warm. I don't really know how else to describe it, but it just felt right to me. So yes, I'm still working on those. I am not dropping the ball, and I'm really enjoying it. The writing of the patterns is getting easier every single time I do it. You start to learn what language to use and how to word things in a way so it's accessible. And you know, I mean, it's like I've knit a lot of patterns, so I guess that helps too. I think that's the best way to learn, is to just knit a lot of patterns and learn what, you know, methods work for you as a knitter, and try to convey that in your patterns. I try to make my patterns very easy to follow, and that's like one of my things. I always worry, like, this isn't gonna make sense. This sounds ridiculous. This is, I'm not making it clear enough, you know, and I think that's just a very normal part of putting a design out. So anyway, what I wanted to show you that got me on that spiel is something I'm working on. So I don't have a ton on my needles right now. That's any new thing. Pretty soon here I am going to cast on the sword fern sweater. I hope to have the yoke done by the next time that I see you guys. Maybe more, we'll see. This design was actually a design that I have been working on for a pretty long time. Initially, I had an idea in my head for this yarn and the kind of shape that the shawl would be. I have since altered that. So it's the same definition of pattern. Like the motif is a faux cable motif with slip stitches, and it's just garter behind it. And I think it's really beautiful in this wool. So this is the Urso Yarn Co. This is their new base, NUE base, which I don't think she has in her shop right now. I bought this a few years ago, but it's really beautiful. It's an untreated BFL, Blueface Leicester. It's not like, there, it's a little bit better actually. And yeah, it's really pretty. If you look, it's not just blue, it has these specks of the darker blues in there, and then there's some specks of like oranges. Here's a couple. So yeah, it's a gorgeous wool, and what I like is that you can see these specks in their finished product, so it has a beautiful definition to it. My idea for this, I can show you my sketch. you know how I am. I'm always showing sketches. This does not have the correct name on it. I changed what I'm going to call it, so I'm going to cover that. But basically, here's a little bit of the yarn there, and my idea is that we're going to have this square that I'm knitting on right now. It's got the faux cables, and they're going to be descending. So when you look at it, oh, it's okay. When you look at it, you'll see on the sides here that some of the cables have started to decrease. And the idea is that it's going to decrease in to create like a diamond of cables, or half diamond, triangle, like an upside down triangle. And then I'll pick up stitches, and then I'll pick up stitches on the side and knit out, pick them up, knit out, and then, yeah, so I think that that is going to be really fun to knit. Just a different kind of way of doing a shawl shape, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see it be done, and I can't wait to wear it because the color is so beautiful. What inspired me to do this shawl is water, actually. I used to have my desk in the room that is now my daughter's bedroom, and in that room there's a big window that I was in front of, and whenever it would rain, it would always make these trails of water. And they, you know, whenever you watch rain on a windowsill, and it does that sort of, it accumulates and then it sort of spins down and like parts away, and it's very it creates these trails. So I wanted to somehow make a knitwear version of those trails of water, which I always love to look at when it's raining. So that's the inspiration for that one. And I think that it's going to be really nice. It's going to be really pretty. This was my original swatch. So, and this was in a different gauge. This was a tighter gauge than what I ended up using. I wanted it to be really light. And actually, I was also a little bit worried that I didn't have enough yarn, but I think at this gauge I will. So, yeah, initially my idea was to have it be an asymmetrical triangle shawl. So I was going to just cast on from the bottom and then decrease up, but I just felt like this was a better representation for me. And I actually had this idea for another shawl that didn't really come to fruition, which is fine. But so I don't know, I might use the shape again if I think that it's pretty enough. Oh, pause. Sorry about that. My daughter needed me. Last time I recorded, I was able to record beginning to end with no stops, but I'm here alone with her, so chances are I'm going to have to snip some stuff out. She's 5. That's just how it is. So, okay. That's really the only new thing on my needles right now. All my other projects you guys have seen, I'm still working on my Hilda Bear shawl. I feel like that's going to be more of a fall knit personally, just because the color of the yarn is so beautiful, but it's so like deep and cozy and not very summery, which is fine. It's just not really a summer knit, but still chipping away at that. And then my my blue vanilla sock in my the Fjord fibers is coming along nicely. I just turned the heel. But it's one of those things, I literally just take it with me whenever I'm going to be a passenger in a car for a while, or, you know, if I have to go somewhere and I'm just waiting and I don't want to have to think about counting stitches or anything like that, you know. So yeah, I think that that's it for the designing stuff right now. Something I did want to talk about is I have been looking a lot more into dyeing. So this book was recommended to me by Yule. I think I said it right. From Wool and Twine. And initially I got it because I had a sweater some time ago that I had knit out of some Snowdonia 2-ply, 3-ply, 2-ply. And it was the Weekender from Drea Renee Knits. And it just didn't fit my body right. I don't know. It wasn't the sweater itself, just the neckline. It just felt weird. I don't know. Maybe I didn't do it right, but it just felt bizarre on me. But my mom has a much more petite build, so I gave the sweater to her. But I'm a very neutral person. I love gray, brown, beige, black, whites. Very mellow, neutral person. My mom loves color, and so I wanted to try to put some color into it. So I dyed it using some avocado skeins, which it did give it a little soft pink hue, which is what I was hoping for. And actually it was really nice, but I went ahead and dyed it again with cedar leaves, which actually gave it an interesting ruddy sort of rusty hue. So on top of the pink, it was actually really kind of pretty, very subtle but noticeable. It made it a warmer tone gray for sure, which was really nice. So I've always wanted to do a lot more dyeing, and I have a few things in my stash that I thought would work really well for some of the natural dyeing techniques that I was reading about in this book. One of the ones that I saw particularly that was interesting to me, they have a section in here about dyeing with indigo, and I love blue. I do. I prefer a deep blue, like a navy blue. I love dark red, dark blue, dark purple, dark green. I really love deep jewel tones, kind of. So in this section, the author, Jenny Dean, this is an amazing book, by the way. I would recommend it as well. It's a really good overall beginning. You just learn about, you know, why you would use these things. And like with indigo, it's interesting how you make a, what she calls it, something. It's like a white indigo white. So like what makes it blue is when you introduce oxygen into the dye vat, and which is why you can't really like agitate it very much, otherwise you will turn it and then it won't stick to your fibers. It's just really interesting. There's an option where you could use hydrosulfite, but then there was another one that, and initially I was going to do the hydrosulfite, and there was another one where they talked about a yeast vat, and I was just like, oh yeah, that makes sense, because the yeast will, what they eat, is it that they're eating the oxygen? I think, I don't know. It's a little bit gray, but basically, yeah, there's a method in here for a yeast vat, and I really think that I'm gonna try to do that. I have these. I've had these for a long time. I actually have a third one, but it's in a ball somewhere, and they're just organic cotton, fingering weight yarn. I've been wanting to make the outline tank from oh my gosh, I just had it and I just lost it. Jessie. Oh, I'll put it below. Jessie May Designs, I think. But yeah, I've been wanting to do the outline tank, and I was going to do it in white originally, just plain. But then I thought about it. Gosh, how interesting would it be to have a dark blue one? It's just cotton. It's undyed, and it's this one's a Knit Picks Simply Cotton. And like I said, I've had these forever. So yeah, I thought this would be like the perfect like bare palette to try to do some indigo dyeing. So I ordered the indigo, and I'm gonna probably do a little bit more research on it before I jump right in. I think with the one before, when I did the sweater, I think I kind of jumped into it without prepping. And I'd say the one thing I'm learning about dyeing is that there is quite a bit of prep involved. It's not just, you're not just mixing a vat of color and then dip your stuff in. Like, you have to prep the fiber, you have to prep your dye, you know, and then there's time that goes into actually dyeing it and rinsing it and processing it correctly. So yeah, it's just gives you a whole new level of respect for the people that we buy our yarn from, that dye it, you know, the natural dyers, but all of them. It is a very meticulous process. I would say specifically with naturally dyed things, it's like each ingredient that you would use to get a specific color has a different method for dyeing, and like different mordants or whatever can interact and make a totally different result than what you thought that you were gonna get. So, sorry, one of my neighbor's dogs is just like barking a lot. Yeah. So yeah, very excited about this. And then the other day I was at the park with my daughter, and we have a lot of old growth oak trees in the area. There's Pacific oaks and valley oaks are endemic to the area, and I'm gonna close the window. And they have a lot of galls on them. So a gall is formed whenever a wasp comes and from what I understand, it bites the tree reacts by forming a gall, and then the wasp uses that gall to nest itself. It's really amazing. It's like the perfect example of a symbiotic relationship. And we get these giant, I think they're called apple oak galls. And I was reading in this book, and I've heard this before, that you can use them as a mordant because they have a lot of tannins. Now for indigo, it says that I won't need one, so I'm not going to use it on that. But I have these, and I thought, how cool would it be? Okay, sorry about that. I have these, oops, it's upside down. The Mendocino Woolen Fiber ink. These are the natural, well, they're all natural. I also have this gray one, which I am obsessed with. I think it's really beautiful. But I have these white ones, and I was thinking, well, maybe I could use the galls as a mordant. So we collected a bunch. It was fun for Scarlett to pick them up, you know. I've heard that you should use the galls when they're fairly new, which these are not. They've definitely seen their fair share of heat, so I'm not sure how it's going to work out, but I'm going to try it. I have a lot of walnut trees in the area as well, so I might find, you know, I'll probably wait to do this until the walnuts are in season later in the year. But I just thought it would be really interesting to dye these two, and then maybe even when I spin it all up, kind of apply them together with the gray, and I'm hoping for a brownish orangey shade. I also have a ton of Resina calendula that I had grown a couple years ago, and I just kept harvesting it because it grows like crazy. So that's an option too. There's a lot of fun things you can do, and these seem like good bases for it, you know, good starting points for a new hobby, which I have so much time for. So this actually leads me to my a new thing that I got. I've been more interested in fiber lately. I'm still just spinning on a drop spindle. I'm probably gonna get a second one. I've had some recommended to me already, so actually I'll show you this one first. So Humble Mountain, I think. Her name is Naomi, the maker's name, and these are the fiber that I got from her. So this one is CVM in Gotland and Romney, and it's all from Vancouver Island, naturally dyed. Oh, and there's also Shetland from Vancouver Island, which is naturally dyed, and Corriedale, that was natural and undyed mixed in. So if you just look at the colors here. It's really gorgeous. And there's a few of these in here. This little bag has 32 grams in it. And yeah, they're all really gorgeous. So I'll take a couple more out and show you. They're so delicate and just really pretty. So that's this colorway. I mean, look at the pops of like peach and the light pink. Really, really beautiful. So there's those. And then I also got, get it back in its little baggie. They come in the most adorable little cotton bags, and they've each been stamped with their little logo. The other one is a CVM in Gotland and Romney from Colombia. So I'm assuming that's part of Canada. And this colorway is called Cherry Blossom. And also just so delicate, and they are all so beautifully little wrapped up parcels. This is a very, the light is blowing it out right now. I wonder if I can, let's see if that helps at all. There we go. That's actually a pretty fair depiction. It's very light pink. It really is just a perfect cherry blossom color, and so soft, all naturally dyed. And I have 27 grams of that. And then the last one, put that in my basket here. This one is really gorgeous. This one is Blueface Leicester, which I can never say, and it's all hand dyed, and the colorways are Dickon and Peony. Now I believe this is the Peony, and it is a creamy little light pink. You can see the little streaks of light pink running through. This is definitely not a perfect example of the color because the light is just so harsh. So yeah, but there is like a little peachy hue in there. And then Dickon is a really gorgeous browny green, and I really love this a lot. It's so earthy. And then the middle one is like a mix of the two, so it's a mix between Peony and Dickon. This makes me think of like, I don't know, Victorian times or something, just that olivey greeny, but it's very earthy, maybe like moss. I just love it a lot. And I'm still a pretty beginner as far as learning about, you know, fibers and what to do with them. So yeah, it's all, I'm still very much in the learning stage, but yeah, it just helps to have beautiful things, right, to knit and to work on. I think that's about it for this one today. Trying to think if there was anything that I was going to show you. I think I recorded some outdoor stuff for you to put in the intro or at the end. So yeah. Well, I hope that you had a good time visiting with me today. So I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate you being a part of my creative world here. It means a lot. And I heard my daughter. I should probably go tend to her. So thank you so much for sitting with me today and chatting. And I hope that you all are enjoying some beautiful weather and working on some really beautiful projects. Before I forget, I just realized I didn't mention I'm drinking nettle tea again today in my mug here that I got in Occidental. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you, you guys. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.